You were taught a lie early, that attraction is mutual, that interest grows from honesty, that choosing her is emotional alignment, that belief fractures here. Every interaction opens an arena, not a conversation, not a moment of connection, an arena. Before a word lands, rank is measured. Before intent matters, position is scanned. Posture, timing, stillness, reaction speed. The body speaks first. Always. You think you are choosing. You are being sized. This is not cruelty. This is selection. Predators do not ask what you feel. They watch how you move under pressure. So does attraction. Same nervous system. Same math. The romance myth told you goodness earns desire. That sincerity is leverage. That emotional availability builds bonds. False arena. Goodness signals safety. Safety signals availability. Availability signals low leverage. Selection does not reward effort. It prices control. The moment you lean forward emotionally, the arena leans back. The moment you explain yourself, the arena writes your rank down. You think words are meaning. They are coordinates. Every early message, every fast reply, every clarification of intent. These are not kindness, they are disclosures. Disclosures tell the arena where to aim. This is where ego fractures. Because you believed attraction was moral. That being decent mattered more than being unmoved. It doesn't. The arena does not test character. It tests stability. Not how much you care, but how little you leak. This is primal biology. Older than language. Older than ethics. Selection favors what does not need approval. What does not chase equilibrium. What holds ground without announcement. A fortress does not explain its walls. It absorbs impact. No movement. No sound. The arena notices that. Most men enter already negotiating. They smile early. They justify pauses. They clarify intentions. They think this builds trust. It builds maps. Maps invite invasion. The arena does not respect fairness. It respects gravity. Gravity pulls toward stillness, toward those who do not react first, toward the man who waits without anxiety. Waiting is not passive here. Waiting is pressure. When you rush to fill silence, you reveal fear of loss. Fear collapses rank. This is why the first tests appear early. A delay, a tease, a mixed signal. You call them emotions. They are audits. Low-cost probes. High-reward asymmetry. The attacker risks nothing. You risk position. If you react, you pay. If you explain, you confess. If you chase, you kneel. This is the reaction economy forming. And you don't know you've entered it. The insecure performer understands this instinctively. They don't need theory. They feel leverage shift. They poke lightly. They withdraw slightly. They watch, eyes scanning, body listening. Can I move you? That is the only question that matters in the arena. Not impress you. Not connect with you. Move you. Because movement reveals rank. The moment you bristle, they learn where you're sensitive. The moment you laugh too hard, they learn where you want approval. This is territory testing, not play. The man who believes in romance misreads the field. He thinks the arena is about chemistry. It's about hierarchy. Hierarchy is not declared. It is felt. The one who reacts becomes entertainment. The one who contains becomes threat. Threat changes behavior. Rooms adjust around it. Timelines bend toward it. Attention orbits it. This is observer gravity beginning to form. And you don't speak to install it. You hold. Stillness under pressure reads as strength. Silence under scrutiny reads as dominance. Not loud dominance. Restrained dominance. The kind that does not ask permission. The kind that does not explain absence. This chapter ends the fantasy. You are not entering romance. You are entering selection, and selection does not care about your intentions. It cares about your rank. The arena is active now. You think tests are emotional. They are economic. Every delay, Every tease, every playful jab, these are not feelings. They are pricing mechanisms. Reaction is currency. The arena runs on exchange, attention, emotion, urgency, explanation. These are not expressions. They are payments. When you react, you pay. When you explain, you overpay. When you reassure, you subsidize weakness. This is frame inversion. You believe you're responding to her. In reality, she is extracting from you. Low-cost attack. High-reward asymmetry. The insecure performer risks nothing. A comment. A pause. A question asked publicly. If it lands, she gains data. If it fails, she loses nothing. But you risk rank. Every emotional display reveals position. Every fast reply reveals availability. Every clarification reveals uncertainty. Uncertainty invites probing. This is the reaction economy. And most men are broke without knowing it. You were trained to believe responsiveness equals maturity. That clarity equals leadership. That emotional transparency builds trust. Wrong arena. In this arena, reaction is payment. Silence is extraction denial. When you answer immediately, you signal surplus need. Need collapses leverage. When you explain motives, you confess fear of misinterpretation. Fear places you below. When you defend yourself, you validate the attack. Validation kills your frame. This is why tests escalate when you react. Because the arena smells blood. Insecure performers sense opportunity. They tease harder, delay longer, withdraw suddenly. Not because they're cruel, because the structure rewards it. You are being priced in real time. Every message adjusts the exchange rate. Every emotional spike inflates their leverage. Every justification discounts your position. You think reaction is communication. It is not. Reaction is a transaction. And you are the one paying. Silence collapses this system. Silence is not absence. Silence is pressure. When you don't react, the transaction fails. No data. No emotion. No map. The extractor is forced to spend. This is where panic begins. Insecure performers cannot tolerate ambiguity. They need feedback to regulate themselves. They need mirrors to confirm existence. When you deny that mirror, their confidence fractures inward. They escalate. Another joke. A sharper tease. A longer delay framed as busy. These are not power moves. They are panic behaviors. Because without your reaction, they have nothing to trade. This is why silence feels aggressive, why it shifts rooms, why crowds notice. Silence creates a void. Humans rush to fill voids. The one who does not rush becomes the reference point. Observer gravity forms here. Others begin adjusting their tone, their timing, their posture, not consciously, instinctively. Hierarchy is not debated. It is felt. The moment you stop paying, pricing flips. Now they invest, they react, they seek validation. Follow-up questions appear. Concern masquerades as care. Friendliness spikes suddenly. These are bids. Bids for regulation. Bids for relief. Most men fail here. They break silence too early. They think the test is over. It isn't. Silence must be maintained until the other side reveals need. Need exposes rank. Once need is visible, the frame seals itself. This is not cruelty. This is control. Control is not dominance displays. It is economic advantage. Who spends emotion loses. Who withholds sets price. You were never meant to win by explanation. Explanation is a plea. You win by containment. Containment starves manipulation. Containment destabilizes narcissists. Containment installs authority without noise. This is why ghosting works. Not as punishment, as hierarchy enforcement. Attention withdrawal is not revenge. It is leverage correction. Bullets disarm when there is no target. Insults need impact. Questions need answers. Accusations need defense. You give none. The attack collapses mid-air. Validation dies here. And with it, control. They don't test because they're confident. They test because they're unstable. Power does not poke. Power occupies. Only insecurity probes for reaction. Mockery is not humor, it is a low-cost blade. Teasing is not play, it is a rangefinder. Delays are not accidents, they are timing traps. Mixed signals are not confusion, they are extraction attempts. Every one of these moves asks the same question. Can I move you? Silence answers without words. No. And that answer flips the entire exchange. They don't test because they're confident, they test because they're unstable. Power does not poke. Power occupies. Only insecurity probes for reaction. Mockery is not humor, it is a blade thrown cheaply. Teasing is not play, it is a rangefinder. Delays are not accidents, they are timing traps. Mixed signals are not confusion, they are extraction attempts. These moves cost them nothing. A sentence, a pause, a look held too long. Low-cost probes. High-reward asymmetry. If you react, they gain data. If you explain, they gain leverage. If you chase, they gain position. This is not romance. This is control probing. The insecure performer cannot dominate directly. They lack gravity, so they test indirectly. They throw a comment, they pull back suddenly. They change tone without warning. Then they watch, eyes scanning, body listening, waiting for movement. Movement reveals rank. Your irritation exposes sensitivity. Your laughter exposes approval-seeking. Your defense exposes fear. Every reaction paints coordinates. Emotion is fuel. Words are maps. The moment you move, they know where to aim next. This is why jokes land publicly. Why questions arrive in groups. Why delays happen when others are watching. These are not social accidents. They are territory tests. Public tests magnify extraction. Because crowds amplify pressure. If you react publicly, you lose privately. This is observer gravity beginning to form. Most men fail here. They think ignoring is weakness. They think responding is strength. Backward, non-reaction is not passivity, it is counter-surveillance. When you do not react, the probe returns empty, no emotion, no signal, no data. This is when gravity shifts. The tester feels it first, a subtle discomfort, a tightening behind the eyes, because without feedback, they cannot regulate themselves. Insecure performers need mirrors. They need confirmation they exist. When you deny that mirror, their confidence collapses inward. They escalate. The joke sharpens. The tease becomes pointed. The delay stretches longer. This escalation is not dominance. It is panic. A stable dominant does not escalate. They wait. Escalation reveals dependence. Now the room adjusts. Observers sense it. They don't analyze it. They feel it. Attention starts leaning toward you. Why? Because the unmoved is dangerous. Unpredictable minds cannot be targeted. Unreadable men cannot be controlled. This is observer gravity installation. Others begin watching how you respond. Or rather, how you don't. Silence under pressure reads as strength. Stillness under attack reads as dominance. The tester begins to feel exposed. Their moves no longer feel clever. They feel loud. They overcorrect. They explain themselves. They soften tone suddenly. They seek reassurance disguised as friendliness. This is inversion. The one who tested now seeks regulation. The hunter becomes visible prey. This is where restraint matters. Do not punish. Do not gloat. Do not correct. Correction is still reaction. You maintain the void. Voids pull harder than force. The insecure performer will confess without words, through over-talking, through nervous jokes, through sudden availability. These are bids. Bids for relief. Bids for balance. If you accept too quickly, you restore their frame. If you stay contained, hierarchy locks. This is dominance ground forming, not through aggression, through composure. The predator does not snarl. It waits. The fortress does not chase. It lets invaders exhaust themselves. This is why ghosting works, not as revenge, as control denial. No audience, no stage, no validation. The performer collapses without applause. Remember this law. Confident people do not test for control. They assume it. Only insecure performers probe, and probes fail against silence. Because silence is not empty, it is pressure. Pressure forces truth upward, and truth always reveals rank. They cannot hit what they cannot model. Targeting requires patterns. Patterns require reactions. When you remove reactions, you remove aim. This is observer danger activating. Others hesitate before challenging you. They weigh words carefully. They soften edges unconsciously. Not respect. Fear of miscalculation. This is hierarchy fear beginning. You did nothing dramatic. You made no speech. You claimed no dominance. You simply did not move, and the arena adjusted around you. That is gravity. That is power. And once gravity shifts, it rarely shifts back. They can't control what they can't predict. Prediction is the extractor's weapon. Without it, every move risks exposure. Most men broadcast constantly. Speed of replies, tone shifts, emotional leaks. These are coordinates. When you speak fast, they map urgency. When you clarify, they map insecurity. When you reassure, they map fear of loss. Transparency does not build trust here. It builds targets. This is why unreadability is armor. Silence is not absence. Silence is variable removal. Delay is not weakness. Delay is terrain denial. Every extractor depends on rhythm, response timing, mood cycles, emotional tells. These patterns create prediction lanes. Once they can predict you, they can play you. Unreadability collapses those lanes. No tone to mirror, no timing to measure, no emotion to triangulate. Targeting fails immediately. The extractor feels it first. An itch, a pause, a recalculation. Because their usual tools stop working. This is extraction denial. They try to reintroduce variables. A question framed as concern, a joke framed as curiosity, a delay framed as busyness. All probes. They are fishing for signal. When you don't take the bait, anxiety rises. Because the human mind hates blanks. Blank space becomes threat. The unreadable becomes dangerous. Not because you attack. Because you cannot be modeled. This is prediction armor forming. Watch what happens next. They misstep. They overtalk. They overexplain. They reveal intentions accidentally. Extraction denial forces confession. Not through words, through behavior. They test boundaries clumsily. They push timing awkwardly. They seek validation openly. This is the judo pull. You do not resist. You do not advance. They lean forward. You stay still. They fall. Crowds sense this shift instantly. They don't analyze it. They feel it. Rooms recalibrate around stability. Attention drifts toward the unreadable. Not because you speak louder. Because you leak nothing. This is observer danger activating. People weigh words before addressing you. They hesitate before teasing. They soften challenges. Not respect. Fear of miscalculation. Hierarchy hates uncertainty. Uncertainty favors the unmoved. Now the extractor faces a double bind. Engage you and risk exposure. Ignore you and lose leverage. Either move cost position. You do nothing. Doing nothing is discipline. Most men break here. They think silence must be explained. They think delay must be justified. Defense implies accusation. Accusation implies vulnerability. The sovereign does neither. He does not correct misunderstanding. Correction kneels. Unreadability ends arguments before they begin. Insults need impact. Questions need answers. Accusations need defense. You give none. Bullets disarm mid-air. Validation dies here. Validation requires participation. You do not participate. This is validation kill. Mockery lands nowhere. Delays find no leverage. Mixed signals dissolve into noise. The extractor circles. Confused. Hungry. Hunger is rank collapse. Predators do not beg for signals. Prey does. Silence starves them. Delay starves them. This is ghosting dominance. Not disappearing to punish. Being unreachable to extract from. Extraction fails when there is nothing to pull. You are not cold. You are contained. Containment terrifies unstable systems. They cannot read timing. They cannot predict response. They cannot triangulate attention. Crowd triangulation collapses. Others stop using you as a mirror. They stop performing. Or they overperform. Both outcomes expose rank. Unreadability installs authority without noise. No threats, no confrontation, no dominance display. Just absence of data. Power does not announce itself. It denies access. This is the black hole effect. Energy goes in. Nothing comes out. The extractor misjudges timing, misreads intent, reveals need. Need exposes hierarchy. Hierarchy locks quietly. Remember this law: if they can predict you, they can move you. If they cannot, they must adapt. And those who adapt to you already accept your rank. Unreadability is not mystery, it is armor. And armor turns every arena into your terrain. Waiting is not passive. When you can afford to wait, only the weak wait anxiously. The sovereign waits calmly. Calm waiting signals surplus. Surplus is power. This is where hierarchy quietly rearranges itself. Most men think dominance requires motion, arguments, pushback, presence. That's amateur territory. Real rank moves without friction. Stillness bends rooms. Not metaphorically, literally. Watch any meeting. The man who speaks last sets the frame. Everyone else leaks first. They rush to fill silence. They justify, they over-explain. That is dependence. Whoever moves first admits need. Need is gravity pointing upward. Stillness reverses it. This is gravity shift psychology. Attention does not follow effort. It follows stability. The calm body becomes an anchor. Others orbit it. Why? Because unstable systems seek balance. Your restraint becomes the reference point. This is how command installs itself. Without commands. Delay is the blade here. You don't respond immediately. You don't react publicly. You don't chase closure. Time stretches. And in stretched time, truth leaks. Insecure performers cannot hold delay. They escalate. Another message. Another joke, another probe disguised as concern. They are confessing urgency. Urgency is rank collapse. You do not stop them. You let gravity do the work. Crowds read this instantly. They don't need theory. They feel hierarchy. Who waits comfortably? Owns the tempo. Who breaks silence? Pays. This is the reaction economy in motion. Reaction is payment. Delay is profit. Every second you don't respond charges interest. This is why silence shifts rooms. Not because you are mysterious, because you are unmovable. Movable things get pushed. Unmovable things get respected. Hierarchy fears exposure. Stillness exposes it. When you don't react, others reveal position through behavior. The manager who explains too much. The woman who double texts. The colleague who jokes nervously. These are insecurity confessions. You didn't ask for them. They volunteered. This is dominance without confrontation. No clash. No debate. No emotional spike. Just containment. This is the judo pull. They push. You don't resist. They fall forward. Validation dies here. Validation requires participation. You don't participate. You don't reward tests. You don't punish them either. You starve them. Starvation is worse. This creates hierarchy fear. Not fear of you. Fear of misjudging you. They start asking internally, where do I stand with him? That question alone places you above them. Status anxiety activates. They adjust behavior. Softer tone, shorter challenges. Respect disguised as neutrality. You didn't demand it. Gravity enforced it. This is territory control. Not by occupation, by making movement costly. Others hesitate before engaging you. Hesitation is submission. Understand this law clearly. Waiting is not passive. When you control outcomes, only the weak wait hoping. The sovereign waits knowing. Calm waiting signals surplus. Surplus is power. This is primal biology. Predators pause before striking. Stillness is assessment, not indecision. And everyone watching knows it. They feel watched by you, even when you say nothing. Observer danger installs itself. They choose words carefully. They self-censor. They adjust narratives. Control achieved. No threats, no confrontation, no visible dominance, just gravity. Hierarchy doesn't always shout. Sometimes it settles. And once it settles, it rarely moves back. Because no one wants to be the first to step out of orbit. Stillness didn't make you dominant. It revealed that you already were. And everyone adjusted accordingly. Effort dies here. Not because effort is bad. Because effort is visible. Visible effort invites pricing. Sovereignty begins when you stop trying to be chosen. This is rank elevation, not earned through performance, revealed through containment. The arena does not crown kings, it orbits them. And orbit is submission without consent. Approval-seeking collapses here. Not slowly, not politely. It dies. Because approval is a request. And requests expose need. Need is the loudest weakness in any arena. The sovereign does not seek permission. He does not audition. He does not negotiate attraction. He selects. This is identity replacement. The old identity chased outcomes, explained intentions, clarified emotions. That identity was negotiable. Negotiable things get discounted. The sovereign frame is not built. It is sealed. Sealed through timing. Sealed through absence of need. Need announces dependence. Dependence invites control. So containment replaces expression. You stop rushing to clarify. You stop explaining pauses. You stop repairing discomfort you did not cause. Repair is submission. Containment is dominance. This is where most men panic. They think silence must be justified. They think distance must be explained. They think stillness needs a reason. It doesn't. Silence just exists. Existence without explanation is power. Tests lose meaning here. Why? Because tests require engagement. Engagement requires permission. You give none. This is validation kill. Validation is the fuel insecure performers run on. You remove fuel, the engine stalls, mockery lands nowhere, delays find no leverage, mixed signals dissolve into noise. This is ghosting dominance. Not disappearing to punish, being unreachable to extract from. Extraction fails when there is nothing to pull. You are not cold, you are contained. Containment terrifies unstable systems. They cannot read timing. They cannot predict response. They cannot triangulate attention. Crowd triangulation collapses. Others can't use you as a mirror. They can't perform against you. They stop performing. Or they overperform. Both outcomes expose rank. This is observer danger fully installed. You are no longer inside interactions. You are above them. Above means asymmetry. Asymmetry means attraction without negotiation. Negotiation only exists between equals. Power does not negotiate. Power sets gravity. Earlier, you reacted. Now, others do. Earlier, you explained. Now others justify. Earlier, you waited anxiously. Now others wait carefully. Careful waiting signals respect. Respect precedes attraction, not chemistry, not affection. Respect. This is primal biology. The nervous system does not bond upward with need. It orients upward toward stability. Stability looks like stillness under pressure. Stillness looks like strength without display. This is why bullets disarm here. No insult sticks, no jab provokes, no accusation demands defense, because you do not bleed reaction. Reaction was the last leak. Now it is sealed. This is dominance ground. Not loud, not visible, immovable. You don't posture. Posture is for those seeking position. You already occupy it. The arena adjusts quietly. Messages change tone. Timelines bend. Initiation reverses. People seek windows into your time. Windows are granted, not demanded. Demanding reveals low rank. This is hierarchy fear. Others become careful not to overstep. Not because you warn them, because uncertainty exists. Uncertainty favors the unmoved. This is the double-bind trap. If they push, they expose insecurity. If they retreat, they concede ground. Either move confirms your position. You do nothing. Doing nothing is the highest discipline. Arrogance performs dominance. Sovereignty does not need witnesses. Witnesses appear anyway, because gravity pulls attention without effort. Attraction emerges late here. Not fast, not loud, cautiously. Caution signals value. Cheap things are grabbed. Valuable things are approached slowly. You are no longer available for extraction. So interest becomes investment. Investment reveals attachment. Attachment reveals hierarchy. Hierarchy locks. This is the end state. Not tactics. Not manipulation. Identity. The man who no longer needs outcomes. Controls outcomes. The man who does not ask is answered. The man who does not chase is followed. This is the sovereign choice. You stop trying to be chosen, and choice comes to you because power survives by containing itself. Display invites challenge. Containment prevents it. You are no longer reacting to the arena. The arena reacts to you.